and welcome to the Gothic Unicorn. Spooky season is upon us. Now I say this because I know that Halloween itself is over a month away, but if you're going to be making anything to decorate your house for spooky season, you need to be thinking about it now, simply because it'll be here before we know it. So what I'm doing to start spooky season 2023 is I'm going to begin with a little bit of a roundup of some of the things that I've done in previous years, and also show you some of the things that I've got this year to make stuff with. Now, it is the first full week of September as I'm filming this, and in the UK, Halloween things are finally starting to filter into most shops. They don't get into the shops in July here. Halloween isn't a big thing in the UK. Try as some of us might. We watch the haul videos on YouTube of things that people have bought, particularly in the States, and we drool because we can't get it. But we do the best we can, and to be fair, it is getting better. But things are very, very limited, and we don't get the sort of general, oh, we've got this theme for Halloween, we've got that theme for Halloween, we've got, you take it or you leave it. So I'm going to start off by pulling some bits out of the vault. Most of my Halloween pieces, small pieces, are stored in the likes of this. It's a takeaway food container, and I find they're really, really good because they stack. And it's recycling. It doesn't cost me anything apart from the actual food in the first place. And taking off the lid, I've got all kinds of little bits and pieces. I've got my wicked wreath. I still love that. I still think that is absolutely brilliant. It's one of my favourite ideas. We've got various takes on the flamingos, skeletal flamingos, zombie flamingos, and of course the vulture version. And I've got a variety. We've got little skull topiaries. These are made with skull beads, which are great. I recommend, if you can find skull beads that aren't stupid colours, grab them. If they're silly colours, still grab them, but you'll just definitely have to paint them. I've got my little treat coffin, which has never, that doesn't belong on there, which has never gone beyond what I made in the first place. I need to make more treats to go on the other shelves. It just hasn't happened yet, but I still like it. And yeah, still get used. Now the bit that got stuck to it was one of my little pieces of autumn leaves, which I made last year. Makes it very, very easy to scatter some autumn leaves around the doll's house, because you can just pick them back up again. What else have we got? We've got, oh, that's where my ordinary doormat has gone, my ordinary welcome doormat. Of course, it would be in with Halloween, wouldn't it? I've got spooky eyes, and then I've got my welcome with the sort of vampire teeth. I've also got some more skulls, little individual ones, and in addition to my, if I can get this the right way round, my happy Halloween bunting, which of course won't all lay right, will you? Go where you're supposed to. I've got pumpkins. Now these ones are wooden beads that I've given a air dried clay stalk and put some paint over. That one I've turned into a jack-o'-lantern. And then these are ones that I've just made out of some air drying clay. I figure you can never have too many pumpkins for Halloween, and even my poor efforts will work en masse. And then these are my little bats on wire, which I had coming out of various places on the front of my doll's house. So I'm just going to pop these back into the tub. So those are the smaller things that fit in the tub, and then I've got some bigger ones that have to be stored a bit separately. So if I just pop these back in here, I don't want Halloween ending up everywhere. Well, not yet. I certainly don't want to lose any of my little pieces. And we'll have a look at some of the other things I've made. Now, this one, my fake trapdoor, fake gravestone, whatever you want, which I made last year. I do still love this piece. It's a bit different, but I think it works. So we've got that. I have got my little coffin box. Now in itself the coffin looks quite nice, but I open it up and I made a little mummy to go inside it. I like that, and I am really tempted to try and find a place to actually put him into my doll's house all the time. One day, I think that's where he's going to go. One of my favourite pieces to make, whatever the season, are little signs. They're so easy. You can print out the bits, or you can write it if you've got better handwriting than me. And these were made with popsicle sticks and craft sticks of various sizes, cut down to size. You could make it with my favourite cereal box, but I use the wood because I'd got them. I think even the base is wood on this one. A bit of moss around the bottom to make it look a bit more like it should be there rather than just a decoration. I've done a similar sign for Christmas and I love it. And then I've got these. Now these were a paint your own pumpkins kit that actually came from a grocery store. When I say a grocery store, think of the likes of Walmart, grocery store, and then some. These were in the Halloween section and they were supposed to be for children to paint. Did I let that stop me? No, I painted them, and I think they make quite nice external decorations for the doll's house. They might be a bit big, but they've got that kind of kitschness that I think a lot of people associate with Halloween. And they're actually made of plaster of Paris. And so they're a bit delicate, and I put some felt on the bottom so that it would protect them. But I do like them, and they're going to be used for years to come. Now, building on my flamingos, the flamingos were, yes, stir sticks for drinks that I found, and I had to do it. I'd seen so many people do turn lawn flamingos into vultures and skeletal things in real life that I had to give it a go. And I turned this into a little display piece, which again, it's a quick decoration. Stick it on the front of my doll's house. It looks great. A few pumpkins, a little gravestone, which was made from air-dried clay, and then the writing. I'm not sure if the writing's actually scratched in and then some paint put over the top. I thought I just painted it for a minute. I've got these all on videos. I will link the playlists. Now, this is my man-eating plant. It's my variation on the infamous man-eating plant, and it's made with styrofoam eggs. Yeah, Easter eggs, little tiny Easter eggs with sections cut out, and I love it. And in fact, this one was from 2 years ago. Last year I decided I got to build upon my spooky plant collection, and I made my giant eyeball plant, which, whilst it is incredibly kitsch and incredibly false, I just love it. I think this idea of having a spooky garden of quite obviously false plants just appeals to me. And then the final piece that also goes with these is my bluebells. Again, this is a piece that I was inspired to make after seeing other real Halloween pieces, and I like it. I think it works. Again, it's not supposed to look like a real plant. It's supposed to look like a decoration. And in that respect, I think it works. So, yeah, that's what I've got so far. I thought I had some other small pieces for inside the doll's house, but obviously not. Obviously, I didn't get that far, which means I've got a blank slate for this year because I'm going to be focusing mainly on inside. Now, I know that my house has got a spooky aesthetic all year round, and I'm not changing that. But I think that with Halloween, you can introduce things that even in a spooky environment, you wouldn't necessarily have out all year round, like the pumpkins. I like pumpkins as an autumn thing because that is their season. I don't think that every spooky scene needs pumpkins 365 days a year. Keep them for the autumn and then do other things the rest of the time. Now, you must excuse me, we're having a bit of a late heat wave here in the UK, and the one disadvantage of this craft room is it overlooks the front, it overlooks the street, and not only at the moment do I have to deal with traffic driving past, a house on the opposite side is having a flat roof worked on. Now, I thought they were finished because they haven't been here since last week, but they're back today because I'm trying to film. So I'm having to keep shutting the window and turn the fan off so that there's not lots of odd noise in the background. And yeah, it's getting a bit stuffy in here. But we're going to get to the stuff that I've got for working on spooky season this year. The first thing I've got, which I'm really pleased that I've been able to get hold of, aren't in the packet anymore because I've already started using them. Now, these are pumpkins. Well, they look like pumpkins, don't they? These are actually putka or putka pods. Now, they're from a plant. They are dried, and you will find them with flower arranging materials. In the UK, I got these from Hobbycraft, and they were very reasonable in price. This bag, which weighed 40 grams, which is about 1.5 ounces, gives me a lot of pumpkins, and they are great for painting. I've used some already. If you've seen my little short with my Halloween table, that's what I made the pumpkins from. And there's a number of different sizes in there, so they look real. They're not all the same size. That is my one problem, is either you have to buy lots of different ones because you buy beads and things and they're all the same size, or you have to make them in all different sizes and then it gets a bit awkward. But these are great. They're all different sizes. They're all slightly different looking, and they paint up brilliantly. And it means you can have pumpkins in any colour you want. So if you want to go for a modern, you know, colourful spooky season, you can have your pumpkins any way you like. As long as you can paint it, you can do it on these. So these, highly recommended. Now, I don't know how long they're going to last because obviously they're a natural product, but I bought some pumpkins a few years ago now. I think actually it was 5 years ago, and they appear to have been these. They have been painted and they've lasted. They've done great. They are still okay. So it looks like this is the way to go if you're not very good with clay. I still haven't got there with clay. I'll have more of a go one day, but in the meantime, if there's other things I can use, things like these, I will be using them. So that is the big thing that I've got this year, which means it's going to be pumpkins everywhere. But I've also been picking up some other bits, and they're things that you can use for easy Halloween decorations or for making stuff yourself. Now, this little guy is another paint your own plastic set. Now, I know he's got a little hanging hoop on the top. I would remove that if I was going to use him in the doll's house. But I think the reason why I've put this is this is like the pumpkins that I showed you before. Same kind of idea, same kind of kit. I didn't use the paint that came with them. Although looking at those little paint pots, they could very well be washed out and used for something else. I think they look sort of like those kind of vintage plastic decor pieces you get. We don't get them so much in the UK because, as I say, Halloween is not that big. But we get them for Christmas. And I think they could be painted up to replicate something like that quite easily. Again, I'd tend to put some felt or something on the bottom just to protect your doll's house, unless you were going to stick him into place. But that's another thing that I picked up, which was, it was cheap. It probably cost me £1. So if he ends up in the doll's house or if he ends up in the kids' craft, it doesn't matter either way, but it's thought. Now that piece and the next couple I've got came from a store in the UK called The Range, and what I've got here are Halloween sequins. Now I've got a load of bat sequins. I bought them especially, but I saw these and these were less than £1, and I thought, okay, we'll give those a go. We've got bats, skull and crossbone. I might try cutting that down to get rid of the crossbones. We've got some little jack-o'-lanterns. We've got spiders. We've got some black cats, and then we've got the spider web in a corner. And I thought I can do something with those. Now you can paint over these. You can stick them on stuff, you can paint over them, and you can use them for texture. So they've got lots of uses. They don't cost a lot for what you get. They're worth looking for. You'll sometimes find them as table scatter in the party section, and you can get all sorts of things like this, and it can be a good way of getting small size pieces if that's what you're looking for. So the last piece that came from this particular shop, I've got these. Now they are wooden cutouts of haunted houses. Now again, you're supposed to paint them, and then you can hang them on your Halloween tree if you've got one. I've done it in the past, not last year, the year before I had an actual Halloween tree. But What I'm actually thinking of with this is using it as a front for something to make it look like there's a three-dimensional. Now I could make it three-dimensional by building up the walls between two of them. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but it's something that, again, it cost me £1. I can do something with that for £1. Even if I make it as a piece of wall art and I put something coming out of it, it's going to work really, really well, I hope. Now, the one thing that I have to buy at this time of year are the skeleton garlands. Now, I know these are available in the United States. I know that people pick them up from the Dollar Tree, and I presume that they're available in different parts of the world as well. I say that because I had to go online last year and buy these over the internet. I couldn't get them in the shops. I have seen some in the shops this year, but they were a bit pricey, and I was hoping that the pound store would have them. They've got them on their online shop. They are priced at £1.50, but they haven't got any in the actual store near me. I went there this morning and they hadn't got any. I've still got a few, but I like using these things. They can be painted. These need to be painted. They're quite an obnoxious colour, to be fair. But I use them for lots and lots of things at Halloween and throughout the rest of the year. All I will say is, if you take one apart because you need a rib cage, a skull, whatever it is, keep the rest of it. You never know when you're going to need a random hand or foot. And I do actually have a little project in mind that's going to use several feet, but that's for another time. So yeah, those are one that I recommend you stock up on while you can if you are into either decorating for spooky season or just spookily in general. Now, I've bought these. I have been looking at small styrofoam pumpkins, polystyrene pumpkins, they're sometimes called over here, and I can't find any, not of this size or smaller. Now, I wouldn't normally buy these because, as you can probably see, the glitter is, yeah, a bit excessive. I will be either trying to get some of the glitter off, or I will be coating it with Mod Podge before I paint it. But I think they're a reasonable size to actually do something as a big jack-o'-lantern. So it may happen this year, it may not, but they were a reasonable price. I think these cost me £1.50. The only ones I've seen were actually in a craft kit, and it was going to cost me £6 to get 6 pumpkins, plus a load of stuff that I didn't actually want. So I was good. Yes, this year I was good. I didn't buy something just to get one item out of it, which is an improvement. Definitely an improvement on some of my past behaviour buying stuff for Halloween crafting. Now, I was quite lucky I've actually been shopping this morning and I managed to get most of the things that I wanted for craft, apart from the skeletons. And one thing I found were these mini brooms that I'd seen on the Shopping Questions online store, but I really didn't want to spend the amount that I needed to spend to make postage worthwhile. These were £1.50 for 6. And the small brooms. Am I going to leave them as they are? Oh no, they're going to be decorated. Now, if you're in the UK, these were from the Works. These ones came from Pound Stretcher. They're actually a reasonable price because most of the stuff in there, including their skeleton garlands, are so overpriced, it's ridiculous. If you're not in the UK, it's supposed to be a cheap store. It used to be a cheap store. Now they sell cheap, tacky products at extraordinarily high prices. You probably know the kind of store I mean. Well, yeah, that's what it is. But anyway, these came from the works, and I think I can do something with those, even if it's only decorate them for Halloween decorations. But I couldn't make 6 brooms for that price. Not in terms of the time it would take me trying to get all the little bits lined up. If you've ever tried to make a broom, you know that it can be a bit of a pain in the trying to get all your bits together and tied round and everything. So that's worth it to me. Also from there, I got a coffin. Wooden box, and I've opened it the wrong way because the label's on the underneath. And I suppose it could be a coffin at 1/12 scale. It won't stand up very well, but I will be doing something with this. This will probably be turned into a standalone piece at some point. Possibly not this spooky season, but you have to get these things while they're in store, don't you? So that cost me £2, but it is actually wood. The hinges seem quite good. And yeah, I saw somebody who turned one of these into like a miniature house. It almost looked like a sort of Polly Pocket kind of deal, which was kind of cool. So lots of ideas for that. And then what I went for, apart from the brooms that I'd also seen online, wooden embellishments. Now there is 9 embellishments in here. I'm not sure what the 9th one is. Oh, it's a cobweb, spider web. There seems to be a witch's hat underneath the what's it there, and the gravestones actually say R.I.R., not R.I.P. That doesn't bother me. All I will do is I will use the gravestone. I'd want to cover it anyway because it's got a hole for hanging it. I'll use it as a shape, stick it onto some cereal box board, back and front, and then paint it. But I like the others. I like the size, and I like the fact that it's got the boo words. So I was quite happy with that. The only ones I'd seen were in a big tray. They were much bigger. They were great. They'd be brilliant for mixed media work, not for miniatures. These will be featuring this year. Now, while I was getting those, what I also found is I found some, and they're not really spooky. These are like wreaths, wooden wreath bases. And they all seem to be shaped so they look like they've got leaves. And I thought, I can probably do something with that for less than £1. And of course, I bought another set, which is a birthday set, which seems to have balloon animals. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but they were cheap enough that if I only use a couple out of them, I won't consider it the end of the world. Now, obviously, if you're going to make your own Halloween decor, there's a lot of stuff you can do if you've got a printer, because there's a lot of stuff that you can find online free, or you can buy via Etsy and other online stores that can be downloaded, printed, and then made up. I was going to print some stuff out to illustrate that, and I've forgotten, but you can do it. Always great. You can get Halloween cards, all sorts of things, just little pieces to fill in your scene if that's what you want. Now, the last thing that I bought today, I wasn't intending to, and well, I just saw them and it was like, oh, I can do something with that. And what I'm actually talking about is Halloween earrings. Now, I have quite a collection of Halloween earrings. quite a collection. I'm not sure where they are. They are some of the things that are still not quite where they should be since we've moved. But I bought these. Now these ones, there's some I'm going to wear and there's some that I am going to use for materials. One of the things I think I'm going to use is these gorgeous little spiders with their green stones. Now I think that would make a brilliant ornament in my spooky house. So watch out for that. But the ones I really bought for crafting are these, and they're articulated skeletons. Now I made ages ago a mermaid skeleton. It was made using a charm, which is actually a little bigger than these, and I love it. Now I know that charm, and I bought it a while back, cost me probably £2 on its own, and I've got two here for £2.50. Now they're gold. I don't want a gold skeleton, but I can paint them. They've got little stones in the face, which I think is actually quite cute. I can cover them up with a little bit of poster putty, just to protect them from the paint. And my little cutters will make short work of the little hanging hoop. And then I can do something with that, or I could leave the hanging hoop and I could hang him in a window in my doll's house, something like that. So yeah, that was worth it for me. Now these are from well, you can see they're from a clothing store in the UK. I don't think Primark are particularly international. I know they've got stores in some other countries, but I won't go in because they put the prices on some things in euros. It might be that they've got stores in Ireland as well. I don't know. I'm not up on that sort of thing, but it's just, you know, you can find these things in the jewellery section of fast fashion stores, we'll call them, shall we? The sort of stores where they have clothes for every season, holiday, any kind of occasion, they'll do something for it. That's this place all over. You go in one week, the stuff they've got in the following week can be completely different. So yeah, there we have my sort of ideas for the sort of things to be looking for. Look out for small embellishments that are meant for seasonal crafting. You will find them, and you can find them in stores where they don't have to cost a lot. You don't have to go to the craft store. Nothing that I've got here, no, apart from the Putka pods, came from an actual craft store. We're not exactly blessed with them in the UK. There's only Hobbycraft where I got the pods from, and I think, like a lot of craft stores, it's overpriced and quite frankly not always the best stuff. A lot of the stuff that they'd got the bigger version of those. They were £7, and as I say, they were too big for what I want them for. You're going to be seeing some of this stuff over the coming weeks. I'm hopefully going to get back into making videos more often. I've got another video that I'm partway through filming. I've just left it because it's fiddly and it's too hot for me to focus. So I've done this instead, so at least I can get something out. I'm not guaranteeing when the videos are going to be up again yet. I'm not going to push myself that much, but I am getting there. And for a time, the craft room actually looked quite good. It doesn't so much again now, but hopefully, now that school is back in session, we can get things sorted and focus on what's important, the minis. So if you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. Ring the notification bell, and YouTube should, if it's feeling kind, let you know when I put up a video. It might take a couple of days, but it normally gets there. And until next time, bye.